Yesterday, when Advocate Andrea Johnson did not appear at the Madlanga Commission, some of the people were shocked, others expected it. And one of the biggest questions that a lot of people are asking themselves is what went wrong? And it looks like we might be having our answers because allegedly, it seems like she was threatened before her appearance. Hence, she decided to not appear at the commission.
Advocate Johnson has a lot to come and say. We also know that at the IDAC committee, she spoke about her fearing for her life.
On the other hand, Mike van Wyk has said, in as much as I'm in the Madlanga Ward, I am still going to submit my supplementary affidavit.
Indeed, our sources are saying that he did submit a supplementary affidavit in response to all the evidence that was led here.
Carrim has said that he is not going to appear because it is said that he's being treated outside of the Gauteng province. And what makes it worse is the fact that he's not even giving instructions to his legal representatives.
Our sources are saying to us that he's outside the province at a medical facility.
Lastly, who do you think is the mastermind with that flawed plea deal that was concluded? And it was then revealed that Vusumuzi Matlala actually is rejecting the plea deal. Is Vusumuzi Matlala the one that actually played the NPA and the IDAC, or the other way around?
Well, we've heard that one of the options he's looking at is coming here to the commission and giving a full account of everything, including the Medicare tender.
In this video, I wanted us to look at these 4 individuals and what has been going on, because I think it is time for us to wear our own attires and everything necessary to go to that Madlanga Commission ward and start with the surgery.
You've mentioned in your affidavit, I noticed, references to death threats. So
that is correct, Honourable
these
Member.
are sadly a part of the life of most prosecutors. At some point or another, that happens.
It is, but in my almost 30 years, it was the first time it happened to me and to me directly. And given that we had dealt with contentious and or high-profile matters over the years, I had never myself received a death threat. So for me, this was different and very difficult, yes. The threat still remains, which also makes it then even more difficult.
So yesterday, a lot of things were happening in our country, and there's a lot of updates, especially with regards to Andrea Johnson and Vusumuzi Matlala. But there's other updates that I think are very much connected to this very update of Andrea Johnson and Vusumuzi Matlala, and it is very important for us to actually tie everything down so that you can understand why Andrea Johnson did not appear and why Vusumuzi Matlala decided to say, you know what, there is no deal. You thought there's a deal, actually there is no deal. I'll first start with Carrim. So Suliman Carrim, we know he's been running away from the Madlanga Commission many a times, and we've spoken about this in this channel a lot of times, to a point that even the evidence leader, the last time they went at the Madlanga Commission, even suggested that they should get an independent medical practitioner to examine him, because what is so shocking is that every time when he has to appear at the Madlanga Commission, he relapses. The situation gets worse, and obviously his legal representatives did not support the issue of him getting an independent medical practitioner to examine him. So then what happened is that they then postponed the matter and just want to see what happens, hoping that maybe tomorrow is going to appear. But now, from the information that we got from Abramji, Yusuf Abramji, as well as Buleli Tweety Jones, it looks like man is actually sick and is not even in the Gauteng province, meaning he's outside the Gauteng province. We don't know where he is and why did he leave Gauteng specifically, and why is he being treated wherever he is. But it looks like the Madlanga Commission has no choice but to divulge or get into an inquiry.
Still receiving treatment outside Gauteng. We have established through our sources that his last consultation with the doctors was yesterday, of course, having seen other medical professionals. So he hasn't had sufficient time to consult with his legal team, according to what we've been told, and therefore it means that he is not likely to attend tomorrow.
So in law, there is an inquiry that the Madlanga Commission has the right to, which then will then allow them to check how bad is the situation of Mr. Suliman Carrim. If it's that bad, then that he can't even speak, that he can't even testify in his hospital bed, then that's where things can take a different turn. But if he can testify in his hospital bed. There's nothing wrong with his mouth and his voice. I think that is something that the Madlanga Commission should look at, because we see this rapid growth of people coming with different medical conditions and different medical reports and hiding behind hospital beds so that they don't have to testify at the Madlanga Commission. So it looks like the Commission, the only option that they have right now is to go through this inquiry to see if whether these people can still testify in that particular hospital bed.
The Commission can actually ask them to come as soon as possible, and obviously I say the Commission must actually do that inquiry to see, even if you are in a hospital, are you able to speak? Are you able to comprehend what you are saying? Because I might be hospitalized because my arm is broken, but it doesn't stop me from actually talking. So I can talk from a secured venue with my arm broken, getting the necessary medical attention. So for me, that is what the Commission should be looking at, and go from the start, issuing subpoenas for these people to appear. Then you allow yourself to use Section 6 of the Commissions Act if they do not appear, because this trend is now picking up thick and fast, and you can see that it's a strategy to delay them coming to the Commission rather than actually being unfit to actually testify and give evidence.
And that is something that the law requires, and some of the legal experts have suggested that it looks like that is an option that the Madlanga has. We know that Carrim is very important, guys. We know that after this tender, especially when it comes to the 360 million tender, we see the role that he's played, which is really, really big. He's played a really big role in this 360 million tender. I don't know if he's delaying his testimony so that he can hear what Matlala has to say, so that even when he comes back again, he doesn't step in wrong toes or he doesn't implicate certain individuals. I don't know if that's what he's waiting for, but really, like, his appearance looks really shady. It looks like there's something that is either he's waiting for the Madlanga Commission to end by using hospitals, or he wants someone specifically to testify so that he can know where to play, actually how safe it is for him to play his game, because clearly some of the people, they see the Madlanga Commission as just a game for them, hence they don't go there and become truthful. It's like they're dependent on other individuals. So that is what is going on with Suliman Carrim. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think he will eventually end up testifying? Is he waiting for Matlala before he can testify, of which that is very highly probable? Or you just think that it doesn't matter even if Matlala can testify, he does not want to testify because he is the direct link to the Hangwani Maumela. Even though, yes, Matlala he has a relationship with Hangwani Maumela, but for us to understand another layer of Hangwani Maumela's role in this 360 million tender, you need to understand Suliman Carrim and the relationship that he has with Hangwani. And it doesn't look like he likes implicating Hangwani Maumela. It doesn't look like he likes talking about Hangwani Maumela.
He knows that you know who Morgan is.
Yes, remember, he then said, I must make a payment to Morgan Maumela.
And at that point, did he not know that you knew Mr. Maumela?
Well, he also played to me as if he didn't know that me and Mr. Maumela are friends.
So, from your perspective, someone was asking you to make a payment to a third party who, as far as you were aware, they regarded as a complete stranger to you. So when you were asked to pay Mr. Maumela, Mr. Matlala didn't give any indication that he knew that you and Mr. Maumela were friends?
No, between the two of them, and I observed this, they did not raise how deep their relationship was to me. They did not.
So I don't know what you guys think about him and his excuses and the fact that he might be waiting for Matlala to testify first. Then I want to move to Mike van Wyk. So Mike van Wyk as well, it is said that he has submitted a supplementary affidavit. So we know that he testified in absentia. Advocate Chaskalson continued his testimony. We heard a lot of explosive, especially his relationship with Matlala as well as his relationship with Julius Mkhonazi. It was so jaw-dropping. You guys remember what happened during that time, even those videos of those exhibits that we saw, the monies that they borrowed from Mutsumi. We saw what he was doing with the blue lights and everything there at the EMPD, the dealings that he was having with Matlala. Literally, those people who were partners in crime. So I don't know if Mike van Wyk as well, he wants to take the same strategy as Carrim, because he also submitted a supplementary and has to appear, but also he had a panic attack. He's sick. He's in the hospital. I don't know if he's already discharged, but the last time he was not fine. He was under medical surveillance. So we don't know if also he's waiting for Matlala to testify so that he can see how safe it is to go and answer. How would he answer and structure his questions so that he doesn't implicate certain individuals? Because that's how it looks like. It looks like it was a form of a strategy, but we'll only see after Matlala's testimony if whether these individuals are going to come. I didn't expect that Mike Van Wyk was going to put a supplementary affidavit, even though, yes, Advocate Carrim did say that he can submit that because there's a lot of questions that arose from his testimony that remained unanswered. So we'll also hear from him, from the commission, as to how are they going to proceed with this case of Mike Van Wyk and whether he will eventually come and testify in person at the Madlanga Commission. Then I wanted to move to the cracks, the big cases that happened yesterday, which is the one of Vusumuzi Madlanga and the one of Andrea Johnson. And I want to finish with Matlala because you guys will see how everything ties up and how everything is literally makes Matlala look like he's the mastermind. I know, contrary to popular belief, other people think they played Matlala. They literally played Matlala.
From just reading of the situation, I think the accused took a big gamble. You would appreciate that with the plea and sentence, you start first, the first leg of it, which is the plea. You would have divulged information pertaining to how the offenses that he is charged with were committed. That on its own would have given the state a sort of some lead in terms of the modus operandi and also some of the evidence that they were seeking. So he took a bigger gamble, having disclosed the basis of his guilty plea. So I think the biggest loser in this case is Mr. Matlala.
But I differ from everybody else. I think Matlala played the game, played the IDAC, and is still continuing to play the game because it's not over. If you think it is over, it's done. It's not over. So I want to start with Andrea Johnson. So yesterday, Andrea Johnson did not appear before the Madlanga Commission. So one of the things that she used as an excuse is that she was not fine. I don't know if she had a panic attack or what, but she was then rushed to the hospital, and that is the information that was communicated to the Madlanga Commission.
Shortly before my arrival on the venue this morning, the representative of the client received a telephone call from one of Advocate Johnson's protectors informing us that she is not able to be with us. They are rushing her to hospital. I don't know what has happened.
This happened this morning?
This happened this morning as we were on the way to the venue. And then during the adjournment, only then were we able to get a sick note or a medical certificate from her doctor.
And obviously, Madlanga Commission was not happy about that reporting, to a point that Madlanga said that it was a useless medical certificate. But more than anything, the spokesperson of the commission said they will scrutinize that particular medical report, of which we have seen Madlanga pointing out, even Advocate Sesibaloyi pointing out to the importance of scrutinizing these medical reports, to a point that even some of these medical practitioners have to come forward to actually answer and give answers to the public, because we're asking a lot of questions as the public with regards to that particular situation of these medical reports that are coming left, right, and center. They are unending.
Well, yes, Justice Madlanga clearly calling into question the sick note that has been presented. And this is not the first time that the Commission is seeing such a sick note, as you will know. So at this point, again, obviously the Commission, both the evidence leaders and the commissioners will have to scrutinize that sick note in more detail before deciding what to do next.
The second leg is the fact that Andrea Johnson has been threatened. And this is something that a lot of experts have really raised, and some of the people that have scrutinized the situation have really raised. We remember that Andrea Johnson, months ago, has complained at the ad hoc committee that she's been receiving threats and that she's never received threats before. But all of a sudden, she's receiving a lot of threats. And tying that up with what happened during the arrest or the attempted arrest of Tembisa and Madondo, as well as Lieutenant General Madlanga. You remember what happened. Lieutenant General Madlanga even said there's going to be blood that is going to flow. Something around that, paraphrasing, right, guys? I'm not saying that is exactly what he said.
I cannot answer what IDAC is about. But I've said it before. We've got a rock squad in there. until something is done with speed, there's going to be blood on the floor.
But Andrea Johnson then decided to go to News 24 and interpret that in her own way. But that's the thing, guys. She's not the only one who interpreted that in their own way. But let's start with Andrea. She interpreted it in their own way, made it seem like Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was threatening the IDAC or them or whatever.
IDAC, take a chair, shut up and sit down. I don't want to hear you, and I don't want to see you. I can't put it any other way. But what it also said is, when you say, as senior and respected as he is, that we are at war, that blood will flow, I think it's a serious threat to the safety and security of IDAC's personnel.
That's how she came across during that particular interview with News 24, if you guys remember. That was even aired on YouTube. So that is the first thing that shows that she's just been stuck in this thing of threats now and again. And as I've said, she's not the only one. You remember Firoz Khan? When Firoz Khan was shot, his legal representatives quoted those words of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi that there's going to be blood that's going to flow. Now we are seeing that happening.
And we note, unfortunately, that the prophecy that blood will spill on the roads has now come true.
So we are seeing not Andrea only, but even Firoz Khan's legal representatives using the words of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, trying to push an agenda that their lives are in danger and that they are being threatened. And honestly, we know that at the Madlanga Commission, people have used many different excuses for them to not appear, from threats to being shot at, to attempted assassinations. They've used many excuses for them to not appear. And it looks like that is one of the most imminent excuses that Andrea Johnson can provide, or maybe even provide a proof, because you can't just say you have a medical condition and then it ends there. And I understand why some of these people actually are assuming that. And I also want you to ponder on this thought and think about it. There's a high possibility that Andrea Johnson might come and say that she was indeed threatened. And we don't know who might threaten her, of which I don't think Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has time to threaten people like Andrea Johnson. But I think they will try use those things that they've already started, using the words of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi to push a certain agenda about him, to say that we are not going to be feeling safe because of 1, 2, 3, or we are not feeling safe because of 1, 2, 3. So that is what is going on with the case of Andrea Johnson. The problems of Andrea Johnson are a lot more than what we think. We know that public interest, they say, has opened 2 cases about her. The one regarding her husband and her sitting in the panel that appointed her husband, and also know about the case that is putting her in a platform where she's not deemed as fit and proper for her position. And we know that the best way for you to delay a lot of things is you going to a hospital having a medical condition. And when I say to have your things delayed, what are the things? Things are things like you being suspended. So if the public interest investigation has reached an advanced stage, meaning Andrea Johnson might be arrested or might be charged or might be suspended any time from now. But her having a medical condition and being sick, it postpones the suspension. It makes the suspension not happen now and again. Look at General Firoz Khan. Why is he not suspended by now? Because he's shot. He was shot and now he's in hospital. Can't be bringing the man that is already down. You are bringing them down even further. The labor laws don't allow that. You have to wait for the right time. So she was really smart about it. And with the way she went about it, she was really, really, really smart. We know the allegations that she has to answer to. There's a lot of allegations from her relationship to Khan, what we heard about interference and Shamila Batoys, and Miss Petro, Miss Lenora Petro. We know all of those things that she has to answer. Sunil Belechan, we know her husband, Padiachi, everything. There's a lot that she has to account to the public, and I don't think she's ready. And what makes her testimony to not even be more ready is the fact that she based everything. It looks like she was too reliant on that plea deal.
We have continued with the investigation into the allegations relating to the SAPS tender. There are many persons that are implicated, both within SAPS as well as Mr. Matlala and some associates. That investigation continues, and that is how we became involved in that matter. The only matter that IDAC currently is looking at with regards to Mr. Matlala relates to the 360 million rand tender. Other tenders relating to the Tembisa Hospital, Honourable Chair and members, is dealt with by the DPCI, and we are aware of those matters because in these weekly meetings, those matters also do get discussed, and we do have an arrangement that should we require any information that we are unable to procure, they would sort of steer us in the right direction in terms of the Matlala matter, but that hasn't arisen because we were able to deal with the matter as we have it. So that's the only investigation.
That's my analysis. Looks like she was too reliant on the plea deal, because we know that if the plea deal was indeed concluded, some of the matters she would have not really spoken about them that much at the Madlanga Commission. But with the plea deal falling away, being null and void, she has to address certain things that the commissioners might want her to answer to. So it looks like she was too reliant on the plea deal, but there's also another high chance that that is not even the case. She was not reliant on the plea deal. Just so happened that things just happened. It's a coincidence, of which I don't believe in coincidences, but it just, just happened that is the case. But I think also the plea deal might have played a role, because why didn't she call in the morning at 7? We heard at 7 that this lady is not fine. But we are hearing after Matlala's plea deal that, they had to rush her to the hospital. I think the plea deal somehow might have played a role. I don't know what you guys think. But I wanted to quickly now move to Vusumuzi Matlala and that plea deal that failed. IDAC tried to give Vusumuzi Matlala the 10th life, and they dismally failed. That 10th life failed. And here are my reasons why I say the 10th life failed. Vusumuzi Matlala is the one that woke up and said, I want to speak.
One, because from the NPA side, they were of the view that this deal was signed, sealed and delivered. In fact, we're told that it was Matlala himself that approached the National Prosecuting Authority as well as IDAC to say that he is willing, of course, to turn state witness in this massive multi-million rand tender scheme.
Went to the IDAC. I said, I want to say everything. I want to tell you guys everything. Implicate certain generals that you guys have not really, either they know about or they don't know about, or they know about but they don't have the evidence. But with Matlala being the person that gave these people money, it makes sense for them to give Matlala the ear, right? Then Matlala went there, told them that, you know what, I am willing to assist you guys with this plea deal, give you information as long as you guys can keep me in prison for 8 years. Which the court did not agree with at all and said, no, you must get 12 years and that's all we can do for you. Of which, when we're dealing with section 102, 105 or 102A of the CPA, the Criminal Procedure Act, those type of plea deals, they are so much reliant on the judge, especially the sentencing, so much reliant on the judge. I don't know if they really did count their chickens before they hatch, or what. I don't know if they thought things through or they just thought everything was going to run smooth.
Case against him is continuing. That is why I was saying to people earlier on that the use of the word collapse gives an impression that we did not have evidence against him. The reason why he approached us is because he knew we have got enough evidence against him. We had done our homework, him and all the 16 others that are in that case. Therefore, in this case, what will then happen is we will go back to square one, where we'll then have to take him back, because we had removed him from the big case as accused number 1 so that we can deal with this plea agreement. Now that it is null and void, we will take him back to be accused number 1, and we'll continue as we had planned, because he's the one who approached us, not the other way around.
Are you really back at square one, though? Because you've got an awful lot of information and names you've gleaned from Matlala during these plea deal negotiations.
No, definitely we have those, but unfortunately when this plea agreement is null and void, we're not able to use those names. But we will continue with our investigations anyway. We will continue and investigate and gather our own evidence away from this plea agreement, and therefore use it if and when it's necessary to use it.
But Matlala is the one that approached these individuals. And the way Matlala was so smart about it. He then went and seems like implicated everybody else but the cartel. Everybody else but the cartel. We didn't hear anything about certain cartel members being implicated, but we had generals like Masemulas, like Brown Khotsis, Ngosis, everybody else that we heard might be implicated by Matlala. But we heard nothing about Steve Mutsumi, we heard nothing about Suliman Carrim, about all these individuals, including Shadrach Sibi. So literally, it looked like this plea deal was going to protect certain individuals, hence I did make an episode around that. Looked like it was going to protect certain individuals. And some of these individuals is none other than Firoz Khan, because Firoz Khan did benefit financially from Matlala. And Firoz Khan is related to who? To Andrea Johnson. And we found out before that Andrea Johnson has protected Firoz Khan and did everything and even interfered, did the crazy stuff for Khan to be protected.
On 4 July 2018, I was working in my office when Major General Khan, who was attending a meeting in the main boardroom, entered my office on the ground floor near the boardroom and handed me his cell phone and requested me to give my personal email address to the person he was speaking to on the cell phone. He said the person's name is Andrea. On the other end of General Khan's phone was a female. The conversation was brief and I could not immediately place the voice of the female caller. The female caller asked for my private email address and told me that I should give the contents of the email to General Khan. I gave her my email address. She told me that once I have given the contents of the email to General Khan, I must delete the email. I thought it was strange and a strange request, but I obliged. At 12:46, I received the email from an email address with the name Andrea Johnson.
So what would stop this lady of Johnson to protect Khan again? If he has done it before, he can protect Khan again. So we don't know here in this plea deal who were the names that were omitted, that were removed, and who are the names that were not removed. Hence, I want to believe that the mastermind is not the IDAC or the NPA. No, the mastermind is Matlala. Guys, Matlala holds the cards and he decides who goes down with him and who doesn't. He decides. And if you are going to backstab him, he's going to backstab you back. Because if you guys remember in the morning, Matlala looked so confused when they asked him, are you agreeing? He said, no, he wants to speak to lawyers.
Morning, Mr. Matlala. I have been informed that you withdraw from the plea and sentence agreement. Do you understand and confirm?
I understand, but I would like to have a minute with my legal counsel, please.
Counsel?
Then all of a sudden he comes back and he agrees. It looks like there was some miscommunication, man, somewhere. I don't know from who. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that Matlala is the mastermind. Matlala is the one that is in charge. He's in control of this whole thing.
Mr. Matlala, I've been informed by counsel on your behalf in respect of yourself, accused 2 and 3, that it is your choice to withdraw from the plea and sentence agreement as you decline to accept the court's recommended sentence. Do you confirm in respect of yourself that is the position?
Yes.
Accused 2? Do you confirm?
Yes.
And accused 3?
Yes.
Thank you. The plea and sentence agreement is deemed to be regarded as null and void. Date?
11th of September 2026, Your Worship.
Which that was not discussed with me. If you can just bear with me, please.
Sure.
If you wish to just bear with me, please. Your Worship, the 11th one. And it will be back to this.
Mr. Matlala, the matter against you, as well as accused 2 and 3, is then postponed until the 11th day of September 2026.
Now with Matlala now out of the plea deal did not go through and he rejected it. You could see even from people like Keza Khanyago that, he's going to go back, meaning everything is null and void. His confession of saying I'm guilty, it won't count, But you could just see some level of, we're going to start afresh when we thought we are done. And with someone like Matlala, you can't read Matlala's mind. I think they're failing to read Matlala's mind. Matlala went to ad hoc committee, played members of parliament. They were playing to his tune. Only Honorable James and Breitenbach. They were the ones, everybody else was just playing. He was just holding them like this. Others were even hot man. They were just, That guy is a master manipulator, Matlala. And I think even now, they're afraid of him because they don't know what he's going to say at the Madlanga Commission. At first, when he came, before he appeared, he said, I'm not going to talk about certain things. You guys remember? He said he's not going to talk about certain things. And we thought it was the 360 million tender because it was still sub judice and the plea deal was about to be concluded. But now they failed to conclude the plea deal. We don't know what Matlala is going to say tomorrow.
But remember when we were told that he has been subpoenaed to appear at the commission, he would come on the condition that he wouldn't speak on anything that was involving his plea deal. At the time, it was still very much in play. Now that that plea deal is no longer there, does that mean that the Madlanga Commission can ask him anything and everything?
No, indeed. Obviously, it was ongoing legal proceedings at that point in time. So obviously, we know that courts of law take precedence over commissions of inquiry. Now that the plea deal is off, but still his case is pending and we don't know what is his instructions. Maybe there's further negotiations with the prosecution to see what they can come up with. But I think at the Madlanga, they will push him to the limits to actually get some of the information that they require, because now we've got a better picture of who was the different role players in that Medic 24 contract of his. So I think he can now speak as Ket Matlala because it's his information. He can consent to actually give that information, but obviously they have to warn him about his right not to self-incriminate himself.
For all we might know, Matlala might throw everybody under the bus. At this moment, probably he's thinking I have nothing to lose. Because if he's going through the process of the trial, he's going to stay longer either way in prison. He's going to stay longer. Unless maybe he will renegotiate the plea deal. But right now, I feel like the people that are in panic, it is the IDAC, it is the NPA. Because they don't know what he's going to say tomorrow at the Madlanga Commission in relations to this particular 360 million tender. So it's crazy, it's bad, it's insane, it's all over the place. I don't know how you want to describe it, but I don't know. Do you guys have your things? I don't know. What do doctors, what do you call your things for surgeries? Do you think we are surgerying them well? Are we surgerying them well? Are we opening the right parts to diagnose what their problem is? Because I'm still trying to find out what is the problem. I wouldn't be shocked if Andrea comes after Matlala. I wouldn't be shocked if Carrim comes after Matlala. I wouldn't be shocked if Mark van Wyk comes after Matlala, because they will see that, oh, this is how Matlala put it. This is how we're going to play around it. I'm so disappointed. Badlula Mkwanas. Badlula Julius Mkwanas, who's about to be arrested, Shem.
Being told that Julius Mkwanas could be picked up once again, this time involving the precious stones case issue, and more arrests in the car this week.
Indeed, our sources are telling us we can expect some more high-profile arrests of possibly police officials sometime this week. Yeah. We also know that IPID has been busy with their investigations, and if, for example, he's arrested, it will be the third time. I don't know how many times he's going to be arrested.
But the Badlula Mkwanas, at least Mkwanazi, literally, guys, he was able to talk, Julius Mkwanazi, and didn't even wait for anybody's testimony. Went there and lied. And everybody came and told the truth and said the other thing about him. And it was shown that he was lying. He was just lying at the Madlanga Commission. He didn't really wait for anybody. But these ones, they are cowards. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. What you guys think? Do you think they will appear after Matlala? Because they'll see how safe everything is. Andrea Johnson will have more time because now she can incorporate this 360 million tender and also this failed plea deal. Because she will have to talk about it somehow. And do you actually think that indeed she was threatened? Or even if she was not, but it's something that she might use to say, a few weeks down the line, we'll be hearing news say she was threatened. I don't know. Let me hear what you guys think about everything that is happening in our country. And yeah, it seems like Vusumuzi Matlala will be testifying tomorrow and physically.
We understand that Vusumuzi Matlala is expected to come to the commission tomorrow. We understand he could be appearing in person. In fact, we've been hearing from some of those who are here telling us about the fact that security upgrades is something in consideration. We're expecting a number of members of the public to attend the proceedings tomorrow.
And that's great news. It looks like it's great news. But nonetheless, let me hear what you think. You're listening to Padiachi's testimony. What do you think about it? I know my video is late. I'll try my best. I'm trying. Okay, have grace. I'm trying. Nonetheless, guys, I'll see you guys on my next episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your families, to tell your cousin, to tell your friend, to tell your husband, everybody that I am on YouTube. Bye.